Valley, within the individual schools, across the state, and throughout the nation, to try to cultivate interest for eventual careers in these technical areas for students. So Tufts stepped forward, and they make the campus available. They do a tremendous job of setting up the entire program for a full day in October. I have never seen so many students and so many teachers so excited on a Saturday, from literally 8 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon, still pumped up at the end of the program. Tufts, tremendous job working with us. We had to cut off registrations last year just due to facilities constraints basically on the campus. But I think all of the districts participate with about 15 students, 15, 17 students, and usually 2 teachers each. And this is the kind of programming that we do for the schools in the valleys. These are 7th and 8th graders, by the way. The Lampin Education Grants, we have 3 representatives from Lampin Corporation in Uxbridge, entirely employee-owned manufacturer in Uxbridge. They have made a considerable donation each year to help with school grants. You've got a grant application in the packet in front of you. I encourage you at the schools to make sure this information about the grants is getting out to your teachers, because the deadline, I believe, is next month or early in May. And these grants will be for the next academic year. Lampin is really interested in innovative approaches to technology, to connecting with the community, and very much into manufacturing. We have innovative academic grants. Oh, thank you. We have innovative academic grants, you'll see again in the packet, which teachers or counselors can apply for. And this year, we also have new grants committed from the Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce. And this all comes from the golf tournament they sponsor next month. Strong commitment they've made for years to education in the Valley. So we want to bring your attention to these. So I see our guest has arrived, and thank you very much. I'll come back to this later, but I'm going to take a few minutes just to introduce the Lieutenant Governor, because we're thrilled that he's here. We saw it was a very busy schedule. First of all, we couldn't have a more appropriate keynote speaker. And I say that honestly after going through his website at the suggestion of a couple of members of his staff to get a little background for an introduction. But for our first annual Blackstone Valley Education and Business Forum, Lieutenant Governor Murray is about as perfect as you get. When I explored the website, I realized that improving public education, that's a quote from his website, was the very second priority he listed under his goals, second only to jobs as far as his commitment across the Commonwealth. He was the driving force behind the creation of the Amp It Up grant, which we have just recently received to connect schools more with the manufacturing sector in Massachusetts, so that teachers and students are becoming much more aware of the potential for jobs in this very vibrant part of our economy. He currently chairs the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, that's STEM, Council for the state of Massachusetts. Governor, I just explained the STEM conference that we do here in the Valley and how important it is for the schools with whom we work. As chair of the City of Worcester School Committee, one of his main objectives was promoting school and community partnerships, exactly what we're talking about here today. He has
a preconceived notion that they needed, advanced degrees and doctorates and all of those, and they do. But she said her #1 need was associate's degrees in electronics. So what are we doing to make sure that the community colleges, Quinsigamond Community College, Springfield Technical Community College, our Voc Tech schools in the region are doing as quickly as possible to be nimble to meet those needs? Because they're on 3 continents and they're going to grow where their employees' needs can be met. And so that has been a major focus of what we've been engaged with in our second term, aligning our labor and workforce training, education, and economic development efforts. That is why investing in Quinsigamond Community College's expansion here in Worcester, Central Mass and South Worcester County is critical. It's why we are working to invest additional dollars in modernizing our Voc Tech schools and making sure that they have a voice at the table, because it's going to be critical that we expand the pool and the training pool for those areas and those types of schools if we're going to meet the needs of employers. The executive.
Hi, this is Julie Salmon with the Blackstone Valley Education Foundation. This is our first annual Blackstone Valley Education and Business Forum. And this is the roundtable discussions between local businesses and school partnerships.
And it's a great turnout, isn't it, Julie?
It's a beautiful turnout. We had 135 people register. Every table is full. Full participation from all of our 10 Blackstone Valley school districts and one private school.
And our main speaker was?
Our main speaker was Lieutenant Governor Murray.
Excellent.
They're still buying some from China, but where their insurance policy? And the one company we're making them for, their hands are tied by a bigger corporation who's forcing them to go to China. They don't want to go to China. They want to buy them from us. But the bigger company, which is Stanley Tools, is forcing them to go to China.
Why would that?
Because, and the thing about, again, it's the thing with Stanley. If we make this pen for them, it has to be perfect. If it's not, they're going to reject it. If it comes in from China and it's not perfect, they're going to say to the Chinese, hey, this part's not perfect. How about you take $1 off each one and we'll buy them? And they'll use them, even though Groundhog Day. And again, credit to Donna Saucier, she, every year will call and try to place her kids in places where she thinks they would get something. And again, I remember one year she said to me, Scott, could you take somebody this year? I said, sure. Well, what time should he be there? I said, well, you tell him I get in at 5:30. It's not a school day. She didn't look good. How can I hire you?
To your point, it's the stuff that the parents should be doing.
But we as employers, I think, have a duty to a community to get involved.
Totally agree.
And that, we go in and my director of education for the company goes into Valley Tech, and we do professional, the same training that our staff get, we do for those kids there for free. Inviting us in.
All right, let's wrap up that third question.
We would also be interested to see the Ed Foundation even survey.
All right, I'd like to move on to our last question. If a business speakers bureau was organized, what are the topics that would be helpful to students, teachers, and/or counselors? So we'd like to call on businesses on a regular basis like we do now when schools request career panels or speakers to come into the schools. So if an organized bureau was, if you had a designated person that you would like to, or for us to call on not on a regular basis, but on a need basis, what topics do you think that would be helpful to students? What do you see even from your own businesses? So think about this for a little bit. Again, we'll take about 5 minutes, and then we'll be wrapping up our program.
We started touching that a bit earlier.
Yeah, it's kind of all the same stuff. It's employability, it's entry-level skills, it's job, career opportunities, all those things.
I think the career opportunities, how many students have we seen that have gone to college and majored in something that is almost unemployable and don't realize it until they finish that 4 years and start knocking on doors and start paying those or attempting to pay those college loans off.
And then you described what she was doing, and that's something I probably want to see. Sounds interesting enough to be interested and fulfilling.
I had to convince one of my students to take a course in writing. And it really helped me.
I'd like to see, we did some mock interviews for the class, and we brought in some people who run businesses or whatever.
That's something that they just even how to dress to go in to an interview. I mean, it's just
For them
right after high school,
STEM
they might
career
think
awareness.
that that's not really going to be feasible for me. Maybe
Not
give
at the
some
very
examples
top.
of other successes,
STEM careers,
like people
not at the very
continuing their
top.
education.
You're right. Not them all are electrical or nuclear engineers, right? And there are a lot of
But there are tons of jobs that
Right.
require